Hi and welcome to this tutorial of Cytomine IRIS. My name is Philipp Kainz, and in this tutorial I want to show you how to work with this application using a simple example. In this example we want to assign labels to annotations and review them later on in order to identify possible outliers. We are now viewing the start screen. The application basically consists of 4 parts. In the projects page, you can view all available projects, and in the image page you can view a list of all images in a specific project. The labeling view provides tools for assigning a label to an annotation, which is basically a marked image region, and finally the annotation gallery provides an overview of all labels in the current project. I don't want to go into too much detail at this point, since we will get back to these parts later in this tutorial. Firstly, we have to select the project we want to work on. Therefore, we start by clicking on the Start button, which leads us right to the project list. Find the project in the list and click on Open in the corresponding row. In our case, we select IRIS Demo Project and proceed to the list of images by clicking on Open in the corresponding row. Now you can see a list of all images in the selected project. As you may have noticed, the name of the currently opened project is displayed below the menu bar. For each image represented in a row, you can see your own labeling progress. The progress indicates how many annotations you already labeled. So for example, in the first 2 images, we labeled all annotations, and in the third image we have 2 more to go. You can view the absolute number of annotations by letting the mouse rest on the progress bar. So here we have 14, here we have 8, here we have 8, here we have 55. Depending on the total number of images in a project, they may be displayed on different pages in this table. You can use the table page navigation, bottom left corner, and go to the second page of these images. Go back. If you have many images, it's very convenient to filter out all finished ones. You can do that by choosing Hide Completed in the Progress column. We now could continue by choosing one of the images where annotations are present, but we want to finish the first image. So we choose Start Labeling here, which redirects us to the labeling page. The labeling page is divided into 3 parts. The upper part lets you track the progress, the left part displays the current annotation in the context of the entire slide, and the table in the right part displays all available labels you can assign to this annotation. In order to explore the surroundings of the annotation, you can zoom in and zoom out using the mouse wheel or the controls in the upper left corner of the view. Furthermore, you can move around by keeping the left mouse button pressed while moving the mouse. If you get lost, you can always go back to the initial view by pressing Reset View over here. As you can see here, the current annotation does not have any label assigned yet. In order to label the annotation, choose a label from this list. In our case, we are assigning Myelocyte. So the progress gets updated automatically and the chosen label is highlighted in the table. Furthermore, it's also shown over here. If you are unsure about the label, you can also remove it again by clicking on Remove Label. But we don't want to do that right now. Move on to the next annotation by clicking Next. Okay, we can see that this annotation already has a label assigned, so we skip it and proceed to the next one. Here we have another unlabeled annotation, and we can repeat the labeling process I just mentioned. If you have lots of annotations, you can hide the already labeled ones by activating the checkbox Hide Completed. So you can avoid searching one by one for the next unlabeled annotation. I quickly label the last one in this image, and we see that the progress bar jumps to 100%. And we have finished labeling all annotations in this image. We are now ready to validate our labels, and this can be done in the annotation gallery. We change to the gallery by selecting Annotations in the menu bar. The gallery gives you an overview of all labelings in the current project. So if you want to review specific labels, select them in the filter option on the left side. You can either select them one by one or all at once by clicking Check All. Here I will now check all terms, which gives an overview of all. As you can see here, the third group contains a cell which is obviously not of the same kind as the other ones. If you found such a mislabeled annotation, you can correct the label by choosing Assign another label from the context menu. This takes you back to the labeling view, where you can directly assign a new label by clicking on the button. In order to review it again, just go back to the gallery and select the groups you want to compare. In our case, this was EO3 and GO6. So we can now see that the label changed and the annotation switched to the granulocyte group. In special cases, where you can clearly identify the correct label, you may also change the label type by drag and drop. To do so, I filter all unknown annotations, for example, and drag some annotations onto another label in the tree. So, for example, this one is E3. Yeah. The annotation immediately switches to the target label. The drawback of this method is that you cannot explore the surroundings of the annotation, which may in turn influence your label decision. Okay, we are finished here, and if you want to label another image, we go back to the Images page and select another image. We click on Start Labeling, and we will be redirected to our familiar labeling view. You can always continue where you left off last time. I will demonstrate that by going back to the Start screen and clicking on the image name right below the menu bar. This will take you back to the annotation where you left off last time. Thanks for watching this tutorial and using Cytomine IRIS.